Okay, let's have a look at these dipshit dogs that supposedly sniff out drugs. Let's have a look.
Cars, even backpacks and purses without a reason. It's all free game as long as students are not wearing them. A mother, though, is now questioning the effectiveness of those dogs after her daughter was singled out. KXAN's Aaron Cargyle has been digging into the story for months, trying to figure out just how useful the canines are.
Spoiler alert: canines are nothing but a liability and expense for communities.
Easy, easy.
Rocco is ready.
Good boy. There you go. Good boy, chicken.
The mission, sniff out drugs. The place, the student parking lot at Anderson High School.
He's more accurate than any scientific equipment out there.
He and his handler
He's more accurate than any scientific equipment out there. According to you, that's actually not correct. But okay.
Austin ISD police officer Tony Andrew check the cars.
There you go. Come here.
Then move inside.
Scratching the paint of these cars, great, with your freaking claws. Get out of here.
Trying to find the 5 scents this golden retriever is trained to detect: meth, heroin, cocaine, marijuana, and gunpowder. The search.
And spoiler alert, any type of treats as well. Bacon, grease, brownies, chocolates, and sweets.
Doesn't turn up anything, but the district says its drug sniffing dogs are successful more than half the time. Not surprising to Bowie High School sophomore Anna Ambrosino.
So would you say drugs are a problem at your high school?
Yeah, probably half the school does it.
The 16-year-old wanted to.
Okay, so if drugs are a problem in the community, that's a problem with the parents and the law enforcement and the society. These dogs aren't solving any problems. Even if these dogs are sniffing out drugs at the school, the fact that your government is allowing drugs to enter your community, that's your government screwing up. So these dogs going around sniffing drugs, they're not solving any problems. Your government, your parents, your friends and relatives that can incentivize you to not do drugs, that's where you need to focus.
Surprise her boyfriend with homemade brownies. The chocolate never made it past first period. During a random classroom search, drug dogs picked up on a scent officers thought was pot.
And they were like, "Are these your brownies?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yep, there's a spoiler alert. Dogs love to sniff out food and scarf down any kind of food. So, oh, they found drugs. No, they just found something that smelled like butter and eggs.
They are my brownies. And they said, "Did you do anything special to these brownies?" And I was like, "No."
Anna says she was taken to the office and questioned by school police, who called Anna's mother.
She was just totally frightened, and they had asked her questions like, do you do drugs? Does anybody at your home do drugs?
Yep, so she was singled out because a dog's nose smelled some brownies. Singled out, treated like crap, all because a stupid mutt.
I tried to tell the policeman, I said, well, what dog wouldn't go for the brownies? And
Yeah, duh. Dogs go for brownies all the time. I bet those police officers bring little treats and give to those dogs in their cars and stuff.
So he said, no, these dogs are trained, and there's no way that they would ever be attracted to the chocolate.
Police sent the brownies to the.
Yeah, there's no way a dog would ever be attracted to little snacks and stuff. That is the most ridiculous BS ever. Dogs are constantly attracted to anything they can scarf down.
For testing, but as far as Anna's mother was concerned, the damage had been done.
You can get on Facebook and ruin a kid's reputation and nothing flat by, talking about them. And
yeah, that's right. So now this girl that went out of her way to learn how to cook brownies, now she's going to get belittled, singled out, called these names like stoner and pothead. And yet the police officers, the canine officers, are allowed to treat this little girl like total crap with no repercussions and no responsibility. So let me pop over to something else. Libel. Dogs get to break the law all the time. What is libel? It's legally indefensible publication or broadcast of words or images that are degrading to a person or injurious to your reputation. Now you're screwing around with that girl's reputation just because a dog screwed up. Yes, that dog screwed up. It smelled the brownies. And then because the dog happened to smell brownies, all of the school, all of the police officers decided to single that girl out and degrade her. An incidence of such publication or broadcast, written claims initiating a suit. So yes, they're messing with her reputation. What about when she goes to college? What about when she wants to go as a woman and enter the workforce? Where are all of the feminists? Where are all of the wage gap people? You take this girl and you totally screw up her reputation just because some stupid dog smelled some brownies.
I think that it's irresponsible and hurtful to take a policeman, to take a child out of a classroom, and you don't even know if that child is guilty or innocent.
I had some people that were like, what?
Right? Why don't you take the brownies, go test them for drugs before you summarily execute a person's reputation just because your goofy, dumb dog sniffed something?
Wow, Anna's a stoner. I didn't know that about her. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm a good person. I'd be lost.
After 2.5 months, the results were.
And this is also crazy because many states throughout America allow adults to use marijuana all the time. In fact, we use marijuana on our dogs as well as CBD. So now they're going to let a dog supposedly smell drugs that weren't there, ruin this girl's reputation, yet fast forward a few years, and now everybody's using these drugs. And this video, you may notice, is from 11 years ago. And the reason I picked this 11-year-old video is to show you that this problem has been going on for quite a while.
In. Turns out the brownies were drug-free.
Yeah, I mean, it's like.
Oh, it turns out the brownies were drug-free. So, like I mentioned earlier, the dog was, excuse my French, full of fucking shit. The dog is a lying little jackass. Like we mentioned before, libel. The dog screwed over this girl's reputation. And honestly, where are all the lawyers coming out to call these dogs into question? These dogs that make people look bad when the people actually did nothing wrong.
Tell me something I don't know. I'd much rather see a social worker in school than a dog.
What a great statement. I would rather see a social worker than a dog. Exactly, because the social worker can talk to the kids about, hey, why are you using drugs? Hey, you shouldn't use drugs. You shouldn't associate with people that rely on drugs for every aspect of their life. Instead of waiting until the kids are addicted to drugs and then ruining their reputation based on the nose of a goofy mutt. Speaking of goofy mutts, watch this.
Walk in the halls.
We wanted to know just how useful are they? According to AISD.
I mean, did you see that? That dog is just spazzing out all over the frickin' place.
Last school year, the canines made 211 trips to campuses and detected drugs 138 times. So far this year, the dogs have made 66 campus visits and found drugs 38 times.
I think it's a very effective tool because all the stuff my dog has found wouldn't have been found if he wasn't in school.
Actually, if your dog wasn't in school and there were some kids and adults and social workers, as mentioned before, those drugs probably would have been found, or they may not have been there because the kids wouldn't have needed the drugs. because they would have had proper human interactions. So this guy right here, old chubby Mc golden retriever owner, and his little claims about, oh, if it wasn't for my dog, those are just an assertion made by him without any proof.
Officer Andrew says the Brownie situation is extremely unusual.
Sometimes dogs have bad days, and that day the dog had a bad day. We identified.
Okay, well, if the dog has a bad day, well, maybe that girl had a bad day too. How come when these things happen, it's all about, oh, the poor puppy, he didn't detect the drugs properly, so we need to give him a break because he had a bad day. Hey, what about that girl? What if she actually was doing marijuana because she had a bad day and she was like, oh, I'm going to try some of this weed in my brownies to make my day better? We always worry about, oh, the poor pupper, he screwed up, so he had a bad day. Well, what about these people? You obviously made them have a bad day because of your goofy dog that misrepresented the humans.
As an issue, and that will be fixed.
Now, Rocco is one of 2 AISD drug dogs. At one time, they had 5, but have had to retire a couple recently due to medical issues. And they're not cheap. A drug dog can cost the...
Due to medical issues. Well, hello. Hello there, Mr. Facts. Yes, dogs have medical issues which affects their brain, their eyes, their nose, and everything else. So these dogs can have medical issues all the time, which means they can misrepresent the facts. They can smell some brownies and want to eat the brownies, but then we blame the kid for cooking the brownies. I mean, seriously, you go out of your way to learn how to cook brownies, and some frickin' dog messes with your reputation? That's absolutely sick and wrong. And so, yeah, dogs can get sick and get retired from service.
District between $7,000 and $10,000. That includes sending the officer off for training with the dog. Now, other local school districts that don't have their own police department call on help from...
Okay, so $10,000 per dog, and they had 5 dogs. That's $50,000. Plus all the food and leashes and everything else, all the paint scratches that these dogs do to those students' cars. That $50,000 could be used for preventative stuff to get these kids together and allow them to be honest in a public forum and say, yes, I've been coerced to do drugs, I have used them, or whatever. All that money could be used to prevent drug addiction and help kids spend time and money on better habits. But instead, they blow the money on dogs and then ruin the reputation of kids that cooked brownies. So these dogs are absolutely freaking worthless. Not just worthless, but they're a major financial indemnity to the community and the kids and the parents.
Other agencies with drug dogs. Aaron Cargile, KXAN News.
Yeah, so there it is. That's one of the stories about these drug sniffing dogs. They cause problems for people. They make the police officer look bad. They make a student look bad. They make the mom look bad because then the mom gets blamed for the student doing drugs. And they make the school look bad. If they could spend that $50,000 on preventative programs, they can make everybody look good. And this little golden retriever, he can go play in the dog park and eat brownies instead of making people look bad.